Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Success Las Vegas. I'm your host, Dan Lier, where we interview the most successful movers and shakers, people doing some amazing things right here in Las Vegas. And I'm so excited today. I've got a special guest in. I'm going to tell you, this guy is hot. He's making his way through the city. We're going to have a good time today. I'd like to introduce Tommie Battaglia.
How you doing?
Tommie, what's happening?
What's going on, Dan? Thanks for having me.
I'm on fire, man. I love it. I'm so excited you're here.
Yeah, me too.
And so Tommie is he's an entrepreneur, young guy, came out from New York, custom clothier. He's a partner with Las Vegas Nights. And I'm so excited to ask him how he came to Vegas, how he built his business, how he scaled and got in with the Knights and really created a brand for himself, because that's what this is all about. And Tommie, I'm so excited you're here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. Pleasure being here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
So let's start out from the top, man. Tell me, you're from New York.
Yeah.
Tell me
from born and raised in Bethpage, Long Island, and kind of was put at a crossroads. My dad's like, well, what do you want to do? When you get older, you want to pay $10,000 in taxes, or you want to pay $1,200 in taxes? And I was like, that's a really good point. He's like, listen, go to hospitality school in Las Vegas. And so I applied to UNLV. I got in, and it's kind of where the journey started. But the journey did not start in fashion. The journey started in hospitality administration, meetings, and event planning.
Right. So was that something that you thought you wanted to do coming out of?
Yeah, I knew I was never like a 9-to-5er,
right.
Not a cubicle type person. But Las Vegas had a lot to offer, other than that realm. So
right.
I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go give it a shot and see what it's got to offer.
Right.
So yeah, in the beginning it was hospitality, meetings, and event planning, but it changed along the way, as does most. They say about 85% of kids that go to school for what their major is, they ended up doing nothing with their major and doing something other than that.
That's exactly right. Yep. So tell me the process. You go to UNLV. Did you graduate with your hospitality degree?
Yeah, graduated from UNLV with hospitality, and then kind of made my way into the nightclubs. Okay. So I started working in various nightclubs around town, ending up at Hakkasan nightclub, where kind of the new path that my life was destined to take started. So I had met a guy before Suits. I opened an Italian restaurant with my dad and my best friend, and it's just a tough market.
Sure,
it is the off the strip, like just full food service.
Right,
it's really hard to compete. If you have other concepts and different ideas, they may work, but the straight food service, Italian food, it just, for the small timer, kind of didn't work. And I was young, and
sure,
so I just wanted to get out of the nightclubs, right?
Right.
So as soon as that came to an end, another door opened, and a friend of mine and coworker, Steve Lopez, he met a guy at the nightclub, and he had a production company. And so they kind of opened up a little brick and mortar, and Steve asked me to be a part of it, be a part of the sales. And I joined up with them, knowing nothing about design, measuring, anything about the custom garment world.
Got it.
So I was diving into a completely new venture, but one that I was excited about.
Wow. So, by the way, for those of you who are obviously out of Vegas listening to this podcast, Hakkasan is I think it might be the largest nightclub in the world. I don't know, but
yeah.
Give us a little feedback on Hakkasan.
Yeah, Hakkasan, was in the era of the mega clubs, and was one of the largest, or is one of the largest nightclubs in the world, and it's quite an incredible experience. People save up their whole lives or a whole year to come out, go see their favorite DJ, and that's really what it's about. People are going to see the DJs. The venue is just the extension of that experience.
Right. Yeah. So obviously, the nightclub world has changed a lot over the last years, and in my generation, there wasn't that type of thing, and now
it's massive.
It's all about the DJs. Yeah.
Yep. It's all about the big DJs, the big names, and Vegas is definitely one of the places where that electronic music shines.
Right.
It really does.
Right. And so Hakkasan has got 3 or 4 floors or something like that?
Yeah, it's total 5 floors. 2 is a restaurant, and then 1 is hip hop, you know, top 40 music,
Yep.
and then the other 2 levels are EDM mostly.
Wow.
Yep. Massive.
So if you're like the party scene or you like clubs and you come to Vegas, you got to give Hakkasan a chance because it's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've actually never been there, but I'm intrigued to go just to see it.
Yeah.
So now you join your friend in this custom clothier company, right? You know nothing about it. You're diving in. You're learning.
Yeah, it's going well, and from that point, the brick and mortar kind of really wasn't the right avenue.
Yep.
People in Vegas, their time is very valuable, right? You know, you're working all week. To go shopping after work is kind of a nuisance.
Yes.
On the weekends, you have your families. You know, you kind of want to just relax and not really think about anything else, but taking time to yourself. Right. So I came up with a concept called luxury concierge. So luxury concierge is we come to you. So we'll go to your home, we'll go to your office, and we'll come measure and fit you where you're comfortable, you know?
Love it.
And don't have to go out of your home, deal with the traffic or any of that. So it's nice, and it's more one-on-one. It's more of a connection between the client and the designer.
Right. You create that connection. Now, by the way, you probably would guess this. You and I met only once previous to this at a Golden Knights game.
Yep.
I'm 6'8",
Yeah.
and so obviously I get all of my suits done because it's impossible for somebody from my size to get fit properly.
Of course.
So the first time I was introduced to a custom clothier, it literally changed my life.
Yeah.
Just because, like you said, they can come to you. They come to the office. I was working at the time, measure me up.
Yep.
You know, 6 weeks later, I'd get some suits, all looking perfect. And of course, you can buy packages, I'm sure, with you. And it literally changed my life. So it's an incredible service.
Yeah, and being shorter, taller, anywhere in between.
Yes.
The custom world is, you know, you don't have to feel like you're the odd man out, right? Like I can't wear that because it doesn't fit and nowhere has my size,
Exactly.
right? Now you can go and you can experience that, and you could look better than, you know, the people that are off the rackers. That's what I call them, off the rackers.
Off the rackers.
You put it on, boom, it fits you perfect, and you're on with your day.
Right.
And then there's the 95% of the rest of the world that just doesn't work like that. Even if you get off the rack, you need some sort of tailoring.
Big time. Yeah, for me, for sure. But I know it's a big challenge. So you're with your this is kind of, we're going in a timeline here.
Yeah.
So you're with your partner, you're kind of getting squared away. And at what point did you transition and start your own company and your own brand and all that?
So we were just at a crossroads where he wanted to do other ventures,
Yep.
and I wanted to stick with this. So he kind of was like, you know what, just take it and run with it. And I did just that. So I just, where I could have been like, you know what, this isn't for me, and put a stop to it, I kind of like really put the gas forward and continued pretty intensely in building the brand. And so it turned into Oscar Wilde brand.
Okay.
And then from Oscar Wilde brand, it evolved into Gaetano brand, which is the current label.
Gaetano, and that's your brand, right?
Yeah, and that was the name Gaetano means Thomas in Italian, and
Nice.
it was my grandfather's name. He was Gaetano Battaglia.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I was named after him, and I thought, well, what better way to honor him is, name the company after
That's
him.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love that.
Legacy lives on.
I love it. Great tribute to your grandfather for sure. So now you got your own brand. And so, I mean, I know about your relationship with the Knights, which I want to get to, but so you're out hustling, prospecting, doing the thing that any entrepreneur or sales professional would do, right? You're out there doing your
just
thing.
grinding, pretty much.
Just grinding out, right?
Day in, day night, just going after old clients, like you said, prospecting new clients, and it went well. And then you kind of like hit your break, right? Your big break. And I think the big break was getting involved with the Golden Knights.
Yeah.
For sure.
So let's talk about that. So For those of you who are not from Las Vegas, who are listening to this podcast, the Golden Knights are the biggest thing that's ever hit our city. I am not a homegrown Las Vegan, although I've been here for 15 years. But there's people that have been here since they were born, and they just think the Golden Knights are the best thing in the world. So, as you know, during the hockey season, that's all people talk about. That everybody's going to the game.
Yep.
My wife and I were season ticket holders from the start.
Very nice.
We went to the first game, excuse me, and a lot of empty seats.
Yeah.
And of course, they start out that year, I think 7-0 or something crazy that first year. And then before you know it, you couldn't even get a seat.
Of course.
And
I think tickets went from like $25 to, at the end of that first season, they were like $200 for the worst seat in the house.
Right.
Yeah.
And people were fighting over each other to get
hockey,
them.
That's crazy.
Right. In Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I never thought it would work.
Yeah.
I really didn't. I mean, I love hockey. I'm from Michigan, so hockey's a big thing.
Of course.
But I'm like, come on, Vegas? I didn't think so.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy and so surprised that it worked like it did.
It's really great. They came in at a good time, around October 1, and they, really lifted the city up.
They did.
And because we didn't have any professional team, and they wanted it so bad, and it wasn't a transplant team, right? We didn't get somebody else's team.
That's right.
They're homegrown,
Yeah.
and the city really loves and treasures them, and that was the catalyst for other sports teams and other good things to make the Vegas economy flourish.
Yeah, and so I'm friends with Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, and so he looks at what the Knights have done, and he's like, "Good Lord, if we could only have some of that success."
Yeah, and the Raiders brand is world known.
World known.
That the Raiders, the Yankees, they're just certain teams and certain brands and logos that really have, especially with the Knights logos, like it's hit China, it's hit the Asian market, and hopefully we'll get to see some hockey games like they do in the NFL, where they play over in London. Maybe get some hockey games over in China. That would be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us about your big break. How did you make? Because here's the thing: people always think that stuff just happens, right? It doesn't just happen. You made it happen. So let's talk about that.
From one way or another, you have to do something. Something has to happen. Things aren't just gifted. You know, you have to work hard, and then if you do work hard enough and you keep going and grinding, something eventually will happen.
Yeah.
It really will. Especially if you believe in yourself and you believe in the brand, the product, you stand by it. It's great. So I had a friend who loved wearing my suits, and he was an independent host out here in Vegas, and he was taking Alex Tuck, one of the Golden Knight players, out on the town, and Alex was like, "Wow, that's a really nice suit. Where'd you get it?" And my friend was like, "Hey, my Tommie makes them. You should come check them out." And Alex was like, "All right, let's go." I think the next day I went to Alex's house, fit him for a custom suit, his first. He was he still is a young kid. And I think it was his first real nice suit. So he was very, very pleased. And from there, he wore it. Some of the other guys on the team got wind. They were like, "Oh man, Al, where'd you get your suit from?" He's like, "I got this guy Tommie, and I'm from New York. He's from Syracuse, so we kind of had a little bit of a bond." And
of course.
And then he helped me, got like 6 or 7 of the other guys, and from there it really just kind of like took off.
Right.
At that point, I had a very wealthy client, and he was like, "How did I get close to the Knights?" And I was like, maybe you can make suits for the 4 nominees for the NHL awards. It was Carlson, England, coach, and GM George McPhee.
Nice.
And so I presented that to Alex. I was like, "Al, of course I'll make you one too in the deal." And he was like, "Let me see." And he's like, "We're a really close team, right? We've been through the first season together, and and you know what? If we're gonna do this, we can't just make it for a couple guys. We're gonna have to do it for the whole team."
Get out of town.
And I was like, that's like 40 something suits with executives and coaches, right? And so I went back to my client, and I was like, "Hey, like, this is what it's gonna take.
Oh my God.
And it's gonna be this amount of money." And he was like, he's like, "All right, let's do it. Let's do it." And I was like, "All right." So I think we made that first round was like about 47, 48 suits.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and it was awesome. They went 4 for the awards. My client got to go to the NHL awards and get to hang out with them, and
dude.
Yeah, it was great. And then from there, partners, so on and so forth.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. So, you do tux. You do tux suit. Did you just do one for him, or did you do multiple the first time?
First time just one, and then now he's got like at least 10 of them.
Yeah, so. Yeah. So you got in there, and obviously it just grows. Now, what's interesting about it is like, there's two parts to the selling process. There's you made that happen. You got in there. It just was circumstances, but it happened. But the other part that some of the entrepreneurs don't think about is delivery.
Yeah.
You can sell them all day,
of course,
but you got to deliver.
Absolutely.
And so obviously you do that. That's the only way you can keep your business going.
Absolutely, yeah. And being on your own, it's a little bit tough at times, but you just gotta keep telling yourself that this is for the future and for the better of the company.
Right. So let me ask you a question. We've got a lot of entrepreneurs that watch this podcast, and you're a guy that's out there grinding and hustling, just like a lot of young entrepreneurs. So when you hit a roadblock, right? I don't know, bad day, door gets shut in your face, suit gets jacked up, it's not your day.
Of course.
How do you manage that in your mind? How do you push through that? Because everybody's got their own thing, and how do you do it?
What I like to do is just sit back, honestly, take a deep breath, and think about all the things that have put you to get to that point where you are and where you're stuck, and then just slowly but smartly overcome the problem and figure out a solution.
Nice.
And if that's reaching out and asking some of your mentors or people that have been there down the road, then that's what you have to do. And sometimes it's tough to do.
Yeah.
But you have to reach down inside and be like, the only way I can get over this and grow and keep moving forward is if I admit where I was wrong or where I failed or where I can't get over this little bump in the road.
Yeah.
Because that's all they are. It's just little bumps in the road, and you know what? Be a steamroller and roll over them,
Yep. I love that. Yeah. And I think what I love that you said, you just take a deep breath. Now, what's great for me is that there's two types of reaction. There's your type of reaction where you're taking a deep breath and kind of chilling and taking a look at things, or there's the reactive person who kind of goes, and it works for some people, but I'm kind of like you. I have stuff that comes at me, and instead I used to react really quickly. Now I kind of look at the landscape, see, take a deep breath,
of course,
look at my options. So that's an awesome.
The younger me would be reactive,
yes,
aggressively, especially with my New York nature. But as you get older, you learn to calm down and see the whole field.
Yeah. So let's talk about what you think your success principles are, right? So anytime I talk to entrepreneurs, successful business people, they have their own journey like you do. And there's a lot of things I'm sure we left out of this journey, personal setbacks, challenges, stuff like that. But if, what do you think your top one or two keys to success are for you in growing your business?
Relationships.
Nice.
I would say networking and building relationships is the number one key to success. Wow. Without relationships and building a bond between people, there's no inner connections to that inside circle. No. Meeting Brad, it gets you introduced to Dylan, to Tony, to Joanne, to the top, hopefully.
Right.
Wherever the top is, you don't know. You don't know which person and which degree of separation is going to bring you to that next person, right? You can meet, it could be the lowest man on the totem pole, but that person might have a cousin who knows somebody in another field that you weren't even thinking about, and that broadens the horizon massively.
Right.
I'm getting into designing custom chef coats now.
No way.
Scrubs for nurses that are more comfortable and functional. You wouldn't believe that two industries don't have really anywhere to go for more fitting, more flattering clothes. It's the baggy chef coats, right? The old school where's the trendy, fitted modern
Yeah.
chef coat,
Really cool stuff, right?
personalized where, it's great. So there's so many, like I said, from one person leads to different companies, different ideas, different journeys.
Right. And that's a great tip, for all the listeners, relationships, you hear it and it's kind of cliche, right? Relationships, but it is the key to success.
Go to every networking meeting or event that you can. Dress your best and just listen to the people that are there, because the number one problem that I think the world has is they're just thinking about what's on their mind, and for you to stop talking so they can say whatever they want, and really they retain nothing that you've said.
That's right.
So listen first, and then listen, retain, and then react and speak.
So I'm putting this as your second strategy, whether you like it or not. Listening.
Yeah.
Because listening is a huge skill.
Yeah, absolutely.
That many people don't do. Just like you said, they're so, like from a sales perspective, right? So excited about talking about my suits. But if I'm not listening to what they're looking for or asking the right questions.
What do they do what did they do for a living? Like, are they standing up and sitting down a lot, getting in and out of cars? Like, you got to listen to the small details, because that will make the happiest client in the end.
Yes. So, and then what you said, listening, and then retaining, and then responding.
Yeah.
So listening to what the client or the prospect is saying, retaining it, actually, because that proves that you're listening.
Processing it.
Yeah. I mean, it's different to listen than to hear.
Right.
A lot of people hear things, but they're not listening.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm getting at, is that you're talking actually about listening, retaining the information, and then giving them back some useful information.
Because not every person knows everything. You may think that you do, but there's always something to be learned in the day.
Yep. So we've got relationships. And let me backtrack on that. Do you have any strategies that you use for building relationships? I mean, is it something you think about, or is it something you just do naturally?
It's honestly, it cannot be forced. It's a natural, it's almost like another ability or sense or something that you have that I'm not sure can be taught or not.
Right. I get that.
But I don't know that, because I feel like I've always had it, So
yeah. Just curious, because some people are just natural at it. Like some people are just so, gregarious and good with people.
I don't have a form or a format. I really just let things occur naturally.
Yeah.
And see where it goes. Whether that's telling somebody else your journey or where you came from, or if they have a business venture that they're interested. How do you collaborate with people? Take somebody's idea and your idea and put it together and make something functional.
Yep. Again, kind of backtracking a little bit. You were talking about the prospecting thing, right? So, I have a friend of mine who lives next to me at Anthem Country Club, and she does custom clothing. And I know that, I don't know exactly what her business model is, but I know that she works with some executives, at the casino business, and I'm sure you do too. So when you're calling and you're cold calling or whatever you're doing, how do you, and I'm just asking you not to do your pitch, but how do you present that? I mean, are you leading with the fact that, hey, I got your name from so-and-so, or when when you're calling these cold calls and looking to get an appointment with an executive for some suits?
Well, what's great about what this business that I started is there hasn't really been any marketing or cold calling. It's very organic with a natural word of mouth, because the suits are actually, a walking advertisement for themselves, right? People are like, man, where'd you get that suit? Because it's so different and unique that you kind of don't need to do that. What if I did put more money in marketing or energy into marketing? Where would this company be? But as one person running the company, it's hard to scale. You can't scale so far if you can't handle the business. So I'd rather it go smoothly and be what it is, and then grow it naturally and not slowly, but just let it take its course.
So it's really, you're building organically through referrals and word of mouth.
It's this is Tommie, introduction to this person, and then eventually you get to where you need to go.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I met you.
That's right.
Right? And
just keep your Rolodex open. I just keep collecting business cards and
Yeah.
and really growing your net worth of people, because you never know. You may meet a person now and you may do business with them. Always follow up with that person, but you may not deal with that person for 2 to 3 years and then circle back, and now you're starting a business together, or you're getting involved in a project or a charity event.
Yep. Yep. So I got relationships, listening skills.
Yep.
Is there another success strategy you use?
Just always be nice to people. Honestly, just be kind, and like, it's cliche, but treat others how you want to be treated.
I love that, and I don't think it's cliche, dude. I think it's real. I mean, I think more people should do that.
It's lost.
It is lost.
It's a very old school way of thinking. Modern technology has ruined everything.
Well, and I got to tell you, I don't know if you know my story at all, but April of 2017, I was diagnosed with an incurable blood disease, and I started chemotherapy. So I was on chemotherapy for 2 years, 3 different types. And so prior to diagnosed, I literally conceded to death a couple times.
Wow.
So from my perspective, when you almost die, and then you're able to come back, when you're almost dead, you're always thinking, man, if I had another chance,
right,
I would be such a better person, man. I'd be a better father. And so I have a second chance.
Yeah.
And so it's easy for me to hear you and say, damn, he's so right. But what happens is, because I'm speaking for myself only, but I know this is true for friends of mine and people I work with, we're so caught up in what we need to do and what's going on and our personal issues or what we think is important. Sometimes we're just not as nice and appreciative as we could be.
Of course.
So I love that you said that, dude. And I don't think that it's old school. I just think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, it really is.
And so that's one of the reasons that you've grown your business.
Thank you.
Yeah, no question about it. So I want to give a shout out to your buddy Jason. That's how we met. Jason is a good friend of yours, right?
Yeah.
He coached my son in lacrosse.
Yeah, Jason Griggs.
Yep, Jason Griggs. And Jason, you and Jason were at a game, and we happened to see each other, and he introduced me, and boom, here you are.
Yep.
A few months later, and that's the power of relationships.
Absolutely.
So Jason was literally my son's head coach for 2 or 3 years. And we had a relationship there because we had a deeper relationship because my son was struggling with his grades and all that kind of stuff. So we were talking about, so we had a strong relationship.
Absolutely.
And so when he said, hey, you got to meet Tommy, he's a good dude. I'm like, cool. And so that's what happened, man.
Yeah. And that's usually how it happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you meet and then you do these cool podcasts and, you get to see what other people are about, not just, yourself.
That's awesome, man. I'm just so thankful that you were able to come in today. And for a quick review from our listeners, Tommie built an incredible custom clothing business right here in Las Vegas. And the 3 strategies that you feel are most important to you are building relationships, listening, really listening, and being kind to people.
Absolutely.
And I love those because those are real. Those are real.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take those strategies and you can be successful at anything. Even in your own relationship,
Absolutely.
Quite frankly.
Yeah. And just a little advice, just try it.
Yeah.
Just try to do those things. If not every day, once a week, once a month, just try to, do those things. Build relationships, listen to people, and be nice.
That's awesome. So, of course, everybody wants to hear about the Knights. So tell me about some inside scoop about the upcoming season coming up. Do you have any inside scoop for us?
Our inside scoop is we got Mark Stone.
That's right.
He's a phenomenal player, great guy, and all the guys are great.
Yeah.
The hockey athletes are different. They're just very down to earth.
Yeah. I've heard that. I don't know.
They're relatable.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a good friend who was big time supporter of the Kings back in the day, and he said the same thing.
Yeah.
So my background is basketball, as you can probably tell with my height. So different personality styles, different type of thing. So
of course,
that's what I've heard. So Tommie, it's been awesome, man.
Thanks, Dan.
It's been awesome.
Really pleasure being on the show.
Yeah. So tell people how they can reach you.
Yeah. So you can go to GaetanoBrand.com. It's GAETANO brand BRAND.com. The website there will link you to setting up a consultation or a fitting, and my contact information as well.
Are you on Instagram or anything like that?
Yeah, Instagram is at GaetanoBrand, and then my email is Tommie TOMMIE at GaetanoBrand.com.
Give me that spelling on Gaetano again.
Gaetano brand, BRAND.
You got it. That's how you get a hold of him. #1 custom clothier in Las Vegas. If you need a suit, call Tommie, and you'll probably see him at all the Knights games. When you see the Knights at all of their awards, that's the guy who's fitting them. That's why they look like champs. So, Tommie, thank you so much for being here, dude. It's been an honor.
Thanks, Dave.
And I wish you all the success in the world, and I look forward to our relationship.
You as well. Can't wait for the future.
Awesome, bro.
Take care.
And we're out of here from Success Las Vegas.